Alright, I've hit record just on about 24 hours until we have to make our decisions on Nathan Cleary tomorrow night, and I still just am so on the fence about what to do. I think at the moment I'm currently thinking about holding, preferably, but 24 hours to go, a lot can change in that time, and I'm still just, yes, so on the fence about it. But anyway, I've started this video here because I want to just talk about three cheapies that haven't played much first grade. We don't have much of a sample size, and if you are looking to buy any of them, I'm just going to go over their reserve grade stats and just my slightly deeper opinions on them. And also, just quickly, I'm also going to be trying to upload these videos to Spotify so that you can kind of listen to them without having to use data for YouTube, and you can just sort of listen rather than watching along. So yeah, if that's something that appeals to you, I think I put the name as Eat Sleep Fantasy Repeat on Spotify. So if you just search that, you should be able to find it. But yeah, anyway, we'll crack on. So the first player up here is Thomas Jenkins. So he has been named at centre for Penrith this week after playing fullback last week, and Casey McLean, who was playing centre, has been dropped, and he is 18th man, so this is by far a slam dunk by at all. But Thomas Jenkins, obviously very cheap, 256k, priced at 19 points, and his break even is only 16, and he's playing in a Penrith side that they're not going to have Cleary this week, but they will in round 5 onwards. Their draw's looking pretty good. They've got Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Dolphins, Roosters in the next 4. And if Jenkins can hold his spot, I believe that he definitely has 10 points of value, probably 10 to 15 points of value here, as we know that Penrith outside backs just find ways to getting points. They just get tries, they get try assists. It's just how Penrith have been in the past sort of 5 years. So if we look here at Jenkins' games, he's averaging 28. We'll just take out that 44-minute game, and it takes him up to 29.6. Now, this is mainly on the wing. He's got one game at centre, one game at fullback, and that centre game does include a sin bin. So 29.6, and some of these games are also playing for the Newcastle Knights. There's 4 games here on the wing where he did not score very well at all. But when he did play for Penrith in 2023, he's got a 60-point game and a 63-point game. So we can see that it is possible for him to go well here. And if we just look at Casey McLean, when he's been filling in at centre or on the wing for Penrith, he's averaged 38.6. Now, I wouldn't be saying Jenkins is going to average 38.6, but if he can get anything close to that, even just 30, I think he's someone that's worth looking into here, because it really feels like he's been named there on merit. McLean is still very young. I think he's only 18, 19 years old, so Jenkins just has probably a little bit more experience than him. I've probably played a bit more reserve grade, so not too sure. Cleary must just be thinking to go for maybe a more experienced guy. But my point here being that he's going to be playing basically the Casey McLean role, and the tries will come 0.6 tries per game. He's averaging here, McLean, and we'll dive into Rugby League Fantasy Pro where we can look at his reserve grade stats. So I've just chucked in minimum of 66 minutes played, and he's got 62 games here spanning from 2021 all the way to 2024, where he's played quite a lot of centre last season, and that would be for the Newcastle Knights reserve grade team. And then 2023 he played predominantly on the wing for the Penrith reserve grade team, and then for Penrith in 2022 he played about half his games at centre and half his games on the wing. So he can he's had a decent amount of experience in both positions, and his average comes out over all those games to 31.9 points, and that is 11 points more than what he's priced at right now. So it's looking pretty good. And if we just have a look at his centre games, we come out to an average of 33 points. So that's also pretty good. So just by using this sort of data, we can kind of, if you think that Jenkins can hold his spot, Penrith are probably looking to go on and win their next 4 games. So it seems unlikely that he would get dropped in this situation if they keep winning. But it's just a guy that's almost basement price, that if you need to be cashing someone down in order to cash someone up to get Payne Haas or another gun you're looking at, I think Thomas Jenkins is a decent candidate, and here's someone I'm definitely looking at possibly jumping on this week. So yeah, they're just saying that there's quite a lot of, he's played a lot of reserve grade, and to maintain an average in the low 30s, it just feels like it should convert into first grade here, especially in a strong Penrith team that the outside backs always find a way to get points. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good option. So we'll move into the next player here, which is Kidione Katoga, who is lining up at second row for the Eels now. This will be his 3rd week in the starting side. First week he came off the bench and played 60 minutes straight on an edge. Last week he started on the edge, but then he had to come off for an HAA, which he passed, and then came back at the end, so he ended up playing 67 minutes. Now, he looked alright. His run meters are notably very low, so he ran 47 meters in game 1 and 27 in game 2, so slightly concerning stat line there, but he makes up for it in tackles, 37 tackles last week with 4 missed. But look, at 279k, priced at 21 points, he's someone that feels, if you think he can hold that spot, he feels like a pretty easy buy to me. He's available at centre and edge dual, so a very handy dual to have. And like Bryce Cartwright, Kalma Tuolangi, Ryan Madison, it's all clear that they have been dropped from the side. They're not injured, they've just been dropped, and Katoga's been given a go. So it would be slightly concerning if the Eels keep losing, that maybe Riles is going to change it up on the edge again. But Katoga's a young player that they've signed this season, and it should be fair that he definitely gets a decent shot at the spot. And if we come over and look at his reserve grade stats here, so I've put in games played over 55 minutes and starting at back row, and he comes out to average 33.8, and that's in 75 minutes. So it's not the greatest for an edge back row, but if he can just produce a 34-point average, that's going to be 13 points above where he's priced at, which is completely acceptable for a very cheap cash cow buy. And if we just filter it, so we've got 31 games here between 2022 and 2024. If we just chuck it on his 2024 games, I wonder if that changes anything. Yeah, so in 2024, he on the edge starting, he averaged 36.6 in 77 minutes. So maybe you'd be thinking, he's come into his own in 2024. He's still a young guy, so his average is in the right, like trending in the right direction. So you'd kind of be expecting something between like a 34 to 38 average from him, and I think that's completely acceptable at the price. You're not really looking to start him every week. He's just someone that you can either loop or just have in your emergencies making money. And if one of your starters is out, I'm sure you take a mid-30 score as cover. So yeah, another player that I'm quite keen on, but unfortunately for the trade that I want to do at the moment, I just can't afford him. So I've been looking at Jenkins, but both of these players, they come with risks and rewards. I think job security for both of them isn't flash, but as we've seen with Cows so far, with Tom Duffy, as an example, that job security is just hard to predict, and we just got to keep sort of diving into these cows, and usually a few of them do stick. So yeah, Katoga is definitely one I'd be happy with buying this week. And our last player here is Jalen de Groot. So news has come out today that it's looking fairly likely that Keanu Keeney's going to miss the rest of the 2025 season with a neck injury, and that's horrible news to hear for him. It's so tough for the Titans after losing Tino early last season. Now Keeney, so now he's been replaced by De Groot, who's essentially a rookie fullback. Played one game last year and he scored 31 points with a try, so not the greatest score there. And if we come over and look at, we'll just go over his price. So he's priced at 300k, 22 points. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, he's priced at 22, but his break even is 23. So I guess essentially he's probably priced more at 23. So if you are jumping on him, you'd be expecting at least a 33 point average here. And if we look at his reserve grade stats, we've got a handful of games, just 12, where he started at fullback in 2023 and 2024, and he only averages 27.6. Now that's slightly concerning, but as we can see here, he was playing for the Jets, who are one of the bottom ranked teams in the comp, and so the Titans, that you'd probably class them as like a fighting for the 8 kind of bottom half of the table team. And even if you added a couple extra points to his average, maybe chuck it up to 31, that would still be 2 points short of what we're wanting here. And De Groot is someone that I'm less keen on going into and less keen on recommending. We can see he's played less reserve grade than the other two players. I think if we remove the filters, he's played a couple games. He's played games on the wing, halfback as well. And yeah, if we add those games in, his average comes down to 24.4. So just the eye test from these stats, he doesn't seem like an extremely fantasy relevant player at this point in his career. And another thing to think about is considering Keeney's gone for the season, will the Titans look to buy a replacement, or are they going to stick with De Groot? But if we have a look here, Kieran Foran is due back between rounds 9 and 14. That's from a ruptured bicep injury. So what would be presuming is Kieran Foran may come back, push AJ Brimson to fullback, and De Groot would be out of the team. And so the earliest that could happen is round 9. So if you jumped on De Groot now, you'd have him for rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 5 games, you'd say. Foran, bit of an old guy, he may not be back exactly on round 9. So you're probably looking at like a 5 to 8 game window. And it just doesn't, if we come into the break-even projector here, forecaster, let's say he averages 32. Where is he? Groot. 32 for the next 5 games. Let's see where he ends up. So that if he averages 32 for the next 5 games, he will be up 79k with a break even of 22. So you're probably looking at a total of maybe 100k made. But if you think the Titans are going to go well, you want to take a punt on a young fullback, then by all means, he's still, a very cheap player playing fullback. Fullbacks tend to average high 30s, but it could just be Campbell running the show. And yeah, that's just, if you had to pick a cheapie this week, I'd be looking at either Katoga or Jenkins. I would say it just feels shaky with the group. But yeah, that's just been a little bit of a deeper dive into the reserve grade stats for these guys. And if you have anyone else that you'd want me to look into, let me know, and I'll be happy to do it. So yeah, good luck making your trade decisions. 24 hours to go, and yeah, looking forward to it.